Nigerian takes stand on State of the Nation and as Acting Inspector General of Police gets marching order from President Buhari. Also today on Political Updates, Governor Rotimi Akeredolu of Ondo State and his main challenger in the October 10, 2020 governorship election, PDP's Eyitayo Jegede, have their day in court, plus fallout from the PDP Kano Congress and the APC's requirements for those seeking to have Government House, Oka, as new address later in the year. We will also examine the concept of dividends of democracy. Who profits, the people or their representatives? I am Fisaya Ogunfui. Welcome. Bring your wealth of experience to bear in the fight against criminality and insecurity. President Muhammadu Buhari charges new helmsman of the Nigeria Police, Acting IGP Usman Alkali Baba.
Marching order is for me to do my best and to see how we can go about solving the problem of internal security in this country. I have also promised to change the narratives as far as internal security is concerned in this country. I am coming back for a full brief as to how I will go about it. I have taken over at a very crucial time, and I am fully aware of the situation in the country, and I am introducing what I feel will mitigate these security challenges in the country, and I have started implementing them. And I'm ready to come and brief the president so that we can get all the support that is necessary to go about it.
The Nigerians are worried over the renewed attacks on police formations in parts of the country. What can you tell them?
What we are having at the moment is a very serious challenge, and I want to assure Nigerians that with the new setup that we have now on the ground, we will make sure that we improve the situation to the best of our ability so that Nigerians will see the changes that are already on the ground.
And how do you intend to do that?
Well, we intend to do it by ensuring that we have adequate equipment, we have adequate personnel, and we improve the training and the welfare of the police so that we motivate them to do more. As you are aware, the morale of many police officers has been seriously dampened now because of the rampant killings of police officers, because of the raising down of most of our officers. So we need to do a kind of motivational work to ensure that we raise the morale of the police. And this we have started, and I believe it's going to yield a positive result.
It seems the Acting Inspector General of Police has his work cut out as attacks on police facility are not going away. The Zonal Police Headquarters, Zone 3, Ukbo, Anambra State, has been attacked by suspected gunmen with offices and operational vehicles on the premises destroyed.
Zone 13 Police Headquarters, located along Enugu-Onitsha Expressway, is about 10 kilometers away from the state capital, Oka. It came under the attack in the early hours. NTA News gathered that about 20 unknown gunmen allegedly set the security outposts and some offices ablaze. Operational vehicles in the premises were also touched. A prompt intervention of the Anambra State Fire Service secured the rest of the building from being razed. Unconfirmed report has it that about 2 policemen in the zone died as a result of the attack.
Meanwhile, the President General of the Nigerian, Professor George Obiozor, has continued engagements towards galvanizing the people of the Southeast towards ensuring peaceful coexistence and the unity of the country. He spoke to newsmen on the commitment of the Igbos to peace and security in the country.
Group, the governors, are targeting similar crime that is going around the country. Plus also their local special crime that is also endemic for their people. We love peaceful coexistence because that's what the businessman wants. Igbos want, indeed, peace that is shared and security that is for every citizen.
All right, now Now, it's D-Day, of course, in Ondo State, as the Governorship Petition Tribunal delivered its judgment on the petition filed by PDP's candidate, Eyitayo Jegede, challenging the victory of Governor Rotimi Akeredolu in the October 10, 2020 governorship election. We are being joined now by our correspondent in Akure, Toyin Batire. Toyin, can you give us a background and eventually what came out of the tribunal, which was, I understand, done by Zoom?
Yes, good afternoon.
Go ahead.
Yes, Eyitayo Jegede of the PDP and his party had approached the tribunal last year, challenging the declaration of Governor Rotimi Akeredolu as the winner of the election on the grounds that the election was marred by irregularities, violence, and intimidation. So the petitioners also faulted the APC governorship primaries from which Akeredolu emerged flag bearer of the party. So in February, the two parties adopted their written addresses, following which the tribunal subsequently reserved judgment until today. The judgment has ended, and it happened live through Zoom due to the ongoing strike of the Judiciary Staff Union of Nigeria, JOSUN. The three-man panel led by Justice Umar Abubakar read out the petition and the defense, and he also ruled on the jurisdiction, stating whether the court can determine the issue raised. After all said and done, the tribunal dismisses PDP petition challenging the victory of Governor Akeredolu, as the tribunal noted that the issue raised in the petition has settled issue of internal affairs and management of a political party, which the tribunal has no jurisdiction. That's it from me.
All right, thank you very much, Toyin Batire. Toyin has been monitoring all morning since 10 o'clock, and of course, that's a verdict from the petition tribunal there, as Ondo State Election Petition Tribunal in Akure, but of course it was done via Zoom, and it has just ended according to what she's just told us. Now, there will be another off-cycle election this year as the people of Anambra go to the polls to elect a new governor. The parties are already galvanizing for this. Joining us is Professor Al-Mustafa Usuji Madena, National Organizing Secretary, APC Caretaker and Extraordinary Convention Planning Committee. Prof, you are live on the network service of Nigerian Television Authority. Now, are your members picking up expression of interest form and nomination forms already?
Thank you for having me, but I think let me correct this thing. I'm director of organization of the party.
Go ahead, Prof.
Yes, I'm director of organization of the party. We have issued out notice of election. We started selling forms on the 15th of this month, that is April, which will last the 8th of June. And as you know, our party has always been a kind of party that always think of gender and physically challenged persons. In our northeast of activities and in the advert we made, 50% of the cost, that is what is expected for women and physically challenged persons. So we started early because of preparation, so that we'll know the numbers of people that are intending to participate, and we'll broaden the participation scope. And that's why we issued the notice of sales of form and activities of the primary election as regards Anambra gubernatorial election.
Let me butt in a bit, Prof. You have talked about women and physically challenged paying just 50% of the fees, nomination fees. But what about the youths?
You know, the party actually, we are trying to comply with the issue of gender sensitive and the issue of physically challenged person act. And the youths and women, they are categorized in the same form. But you know, in every election or in every setting, the youths are part and parcel of those that qualify to contest election. So the issue did not take who is a youth or who is not a youth, but it has taken cognizance of the physically challenged person and the woman.
All right. Finally, there must be, through the screening process, there must be also the issues of, a small window for appeal in case anybody is disqualified during the screening process.
Yes, we have outlined activities, right, from sales of form, then the last day for submission of form, then the screening appeal, primary appeal committees will be established in accordance with the party conclusion.
All right. Thank you very much, Professor. Right there, Professor
Thank you for
Madena.
having me, my brother.
Thank you very much. And we'll still call you in the course of this process to eventually, perhaps as a part of the preview to the primary itself, as we are also doing for all the other parties.
Thank you for having me anytime.
Thank you very much. Now, the All Progressives Congress says it will continue to market its manifesto with visible positive change effected by its members. Honorable Sam Igbo, who represents Umaya North and South and Ikwano Federal Constituency, says these are the guiding principles of the party.
For a child who is 3 years old in Abama Olokoro and less, one thing is for sure, that they are seeing electricity light for the first time in their lives. As for the adults, one can only imagine what life has been like. It was therefore a momentous day for them, and their joy knew no bound as their prayers were answered, courtesy of the member representing Ikwano, Umuahia North and South Federal Constituency as the National Assembly, Sam Onigbo, who presented them a 300 kVA transformer. Anywhere there is light, there is progress. We were also appealing for these roads that lead to your hometown and Akwa Ibom State. What we are seeing is quality representation, irrespective of the party they come from.
We have never had it so good, Labama.
Representative Sam Onigbo, who was nicknamed Ekweme and Onunekuri Igbo, promised to continue his effective and responsive representation.
That I will be accessible to the people who have used the power of their tongue to lift me to the House of Representatives.
Representative Onigbo had also presented his people with water project, solar-powered street lights, a block of 3 classrooms at Nsirimo Central School, as well as another 300 kVA transformer, all within his constituency.
All right, Honorable Sam Igbo, representing my North-South Ikwano Federal Constituency, joins us now. Before you went home, we were talking about this in terms of representation. And are you trying to prove to me, in terms of that discussion we had, that it's not an issue of, just... It's not. We were talking about the issue, who has the profit. Is it the people being represented, or you are the representative? What's in a few of this? Is it part of the APC agenda? In little pockets like this, getting some of these deliverables to your people.
Absolutely, because like I just explained, in my brief speech there. This is the essence of the social contract with the people. I represent Ikwano Umuahia North South Federal Constituency, and that's where you have 32 INEC electoral wards. So the question you should ask yourself is this. If you were to move from your village, there are 57 villages in Ikwano alone, and then you cover maybe similar number of villages in Umuahia South and Umuahia North during the election day. Is it possible for you to move from one polling unit to the other, forcing people to vote for you? No, it's not possible. So these people freely exercised their power and transferred, yielded that power that they too could easily have, bidded for. They yielded that through the power of their thumb and say, go and represent us. So that's some kind of commitment, some kind of contract. So your duty, what you owe these people in 32 INEC electoral wards, in my case, is you have to give them service. So you provide the service in the form of providing infrastructure, empowerment in terms of training for youth, women, to give them a new lease of life. And of course, representing them well and responding to their legitimate needs and concerns. That's why I operate with the acronym of EAR.
Let me, before we go to that, let's, ask this question. We had this discussion, it was, perhaps time didn't allow us the last time.
Yeah.
We've had this issue when we asked you about our democracy. Is our democracy improving? Are we developing? Are we getting more matured? And I, told you that we've had situations now in the past years where you only see representatives or anybody in administration seeing them only in a 4-year cycle, especially when election is around the corner. When election is around the corner, you see them in a 4-year cycle, coming again for election. We've seen this across the country, and there's a bit of, distrust, between the electorate and, the people who climb the podiums.
Well, that appears to be the situation on ground. But the truth is that when you check very well too, you would find that, look, all that is gradually changing. They said if you want to give example, the tortoise. They said if you ask the tortoise to count people gathered in a place, he will first say myself 1 and my wife 2, and then he starts counting. So you can give you an example. I'm using my federal constituency to give, which is Ikwu and Umuahia North and South. Maybe I have not mentioned it here during interviews. I'm very humbled to say that I'm the very first representative in that federal constituency of the heavies to be re-elected. And the reason why that was possible is because I understood from day one that it is service to the people and not to yourself. I've given you a very powerful example. You cannot move around to force people to vote for you. So since you didn't force them to vote for you, they voted for you freely. What are you giving them in return? What you should give them in return to earn their respect, to earn their trust, to earn their vote is service that is verifiable.
All right, moving on. We'll still come back for your final words, of course, on the show. But let's take a few stories. A civil society forum says opposition parties must shun divisive tendencies and bring development initiatives to the table as Nigeria needs all hands on deck to shed the toga of having potential to showcasing accomplishments.
This media briefing is in reaction to the call by the People's Democratic Party on the Department of State Services to immediately invite the Minister of Communications and Digital Economy, Issa Pantami, for questioning over alleged affiliations with the Taliban and Al-Qaeda, and also demanded that President Muhammadu Buhari should immediately sack the minister. This call, the Civil Society Forum of Nigeria says, is the initiative of enemies of Nigeria who are in the business of profiting through crimes against the nation.
We will jointly support the government of President Buhari to end crimes in our nation. And this we appeal to all Nigerians, responsible Nigerians.
The forum notes that every attempt to derail President Buhari's government from resolving the insecurity problems bedeviling Nigeria and Nigerians must be rejected by all.
Now, our last conversation would have been from Kaduna and Kano. The PDP had its Congress over the weekend with some interesting stories appearing online. We wanted to join Shehu Wadasagagi from PDP Kano, but we weren't able to quite get him via phone. If he still can still get in through before the program ends, then we'll try and take him as well. Now, we started at the top of the show about talking about a few cases of insecurity that we've had, especially in the Southeast. Absolutely. Now we've seen some of the things that you have done, some of your colleagues and other politicians from other parties trying to alleviate some the plight of some communities and the youth as well. Are you engaging with the youths, especially as we're seeing spate and spate of insecurity in the Southeast at the moment?
Well, I've given you a number of examples, and I'm engaging with the youths. And that's why it was possible for me to be re-elected. That's one. I'm also engaging with the women because I have grassroots networks. And it's not just that. It's just that there should be a collective effort. It's not just maybe one politician or one leader is doing this in one or two federal constituencies or one or two local governments. There should be a collective effort. Everyone should join in because, like I said here the other time, the Constitution makes it very clear that the primary purpose of any government is security. and the welfare of the people. So if there's no security, you cannot think of investing or doing business or planning for the next election. So all hands must be on deck to secure the nation. I think I said it here, and I said it here very strongly. This is the direction to go. It's not a question of party A or party B or tribe A or tribe B, because if we do not secure the country, perhaps you still have people looking from outside who would like to see a disintegration of this place, and it's not in anybody's interest.
All right, final words on the show, final story on the show. The National Fiscal Responsibility Forum, a National Fiscal Responsibility Forum, I beg your pardon, is to be established for local government chairmen and councillors to acquaint them with the principles of prudent management of government resources.
We need to encourage the states and local government to comply with our recommendations. There are a lot of challenges. Most state governments go out of their way to borrow funds, which they don't use for the purposes as clearly stipulated.
We need to generate and to ensure that whatever is generated is made available and is applied very, very prudently for the interest of our people. And when we talk of interest of our people, we're referring substantially to those who live in the rural areas.
So that takes us to the last line on dividends of democracy. You can see the worry being expressed there in terms of, funds going to those who really need them, and people on behalf of whom you have gotten some of these tickets at the local government level, at the state level, making sure that the funds are used judiciously and also prudently.
That's the bottom line. Once you do not apply the resources of the people judiciously and prudently, then you don't have the resources with which to provide them the services that they need, the services for which they have yielded the chance for you to lead. So we have to go back to the drawing board and check how the governors are using resources for the local government. Because today, as we speak, the local governments they're not just doing anything. That was why when we attended the Joint Committee on the Amendment of the Electoral Act, I was one of those who spoke strongly and said, look, we must find a situation where before anybody is elected a local government, he's accountable to those who elected him. I narrated to you here why you must render services to the people. I represent 32 INEC electoral works. If I am not accountable, if I'm not responsive, if I'm not effective to the genuine concerns and legitimate aspirations of my constituents, I don't think that they will re-elect me. So that must exist. A situation where it appears the governors are merely appointing local government chairmen and councillors makes them totally ineffective and unaccountable to the constituents.
All right, we've had Honorable Samuel Igbo, of course, coming in from the chambers. I understand it was a special session for Honorable Prestigious Osia, who also has been a guest on this program before. It was taken from us late last year. Many thanks for coming on the show, and you for watching Political Updates for today on the network service of the Nigerian Television Authority, where we give you the very best of news, reviews, previews, and interviews. On Friday, we'll come with a brighter package, and we're looking at State Independent Electoral Commission, how independent. We'll look at all that in the course of that program and many other things. So keep on watching the Nigerian Television Authority. We'll see you then.